Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. New report. Biden streamlined vetting process for Chinese nationals illegally entering the United States. How wonderful. Let's streamline the vetting process for our number one political and economic enemy in the world. What a great idea. What Biden has done is people that have not come through ports of entry to apply for asylum correctly and legally, and by the way, economic hardship in the country you're coming from, it is not a requisite for asylum. If you're looking for economic freedom or a better chance for your family, that is not on the list of things for asylum. You have to go through a port of entry and apply for asylum the way it's always been done. But here's the deal. Tens and hundreds of thousands every single month are being caught in the country illegally, unlawfully. Then they're giving a court appearance. Some of them are for 2030 plus 2035, 10 plus years from now. So that means for 10 years, they get to work, get a green card. 59% of the unlawful immigrants receive partial or total social services, i.e. welfare benefits. That's almost 60%. That includes Medicaid, food stamps, who knows? HEAP, the works. 59%. And if a new president comes into office, say the end of this year, beginning of next year, they can't be deported because they have a court date pending. For those of you that still think that this is not some huge elaborate plan to undermine economically, socially, and politically the United States of America, is a fool. Let's read on. It's incredible. The Biden administration severely weakened security screenings for Chinese illegals, aliens entering the U.S., according to government records. A U.S. Customs and Border Patrol internal email obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation instructs CBP personnel to drastically reduce the number of interview questions from Chinese immigrants apprehended after illegally entering the United States. Just think about that paragraph for 1 second. As the DCNF reports, rather than the standard 40 or so questions, Chinese nationals were to be asked only 5. The April 2023 emails to the Chinese illegal aliens who successfully answer the basic 5 questions were to be released into the U.S. interior, and God knows where they are going. If they do not alert to the above, there is no requirement to further delay current processing pathway, the email states. The Department of Homeland Security, NTAOR is an abbreviation for Notice to Appear Order of Recognitions, which allows illegal aliens entering the U.S. with a future court date. Like I said, many of them are over 10 years away. The 5 questions consider military service, universities, place of birth, employment, and political party. Well, there is only one political party in China. Duh. If there is a yes to any of the above, they refer to the transported to, blah, 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 blah. Scaling back the interview has fast-tracked Chinese illegal aliens into the U.S. while making it tougher for authorities to identify national security threats. A retired CBP patrol agent in charge told DCNF. Now, here's the thing. How many does it take for, we'll call it a terrorist attack? How many people were physically involved in 9/11? Dozen? Maybe 15? You're going to see later in the article, 14,000 just Chinese illegals were apprehended in the United States and given court appearance tickets and cut loose. That's not counting other terrorist organizations or terrorists. They've caught so far 140 on the terrorist watch list, which means they are very serious terrorists and criminals. How many hundreds got through uncaught? How many does it take for a major terrorist disaster? Think about it for a minute. I'm not even talking about 9/11 now. We're talking about all kinds of craziness. Cars going off with bombs at very densely populated, we'll say, parties or concerts or even a church service. The poisoning of water and wells in America's heartland, where our farmland is, to basically destroy our food supply. And the list goes on and on and on. Nuclear power plants, dams that generate power, and the list goes on and on and on. It doesn't take that many. It took 15 or so for 9/11. Now there are 14,000 that we caught, just Chinese, not counting any other supposedly terrorists that come in. How many do you have to have here? This is just asking for a disaster to happen. You know, this is just the government covering their ass. Imagine that, so they can say they were vetted. Corral said, I believe the government recognizes the threat of Chinese soldiers and spies that are pouring into America, and they will try and identify these individuals. However, the same government does not want to stop the flow of illegal aliens or Chinese nationals, just the bad ones, which is impossible. Then you have to ask yourself, even crazy people do things for a reason. Evil people do things for a reason. Everybody does something for a reason. It might be a half-assed reason. Why are all these hundreds of thousands and millions being let in? Why? What is the reason? Is it politics? Is it more sinister? Is it to help corporations with cheap labor? Is to undermine the social fabric of the country? Is it to break our system financially with billions going out in welfare benefits? Any one of those would be a disaster, and it is. What happens when you change presidents? All you anti-Trump people out there, say we get a Republican that you like instead of Trump. Won't happen. We'll say it happens. All these appearance tickets given to the illegals that were caught bar them from being deported because they have a court date coming 10 years from now, but they have a court date coming, so they can't be deported, thus handcuffing a new president. Over the past year, more than 24,000 Chinese nationals have been apprehended while entering the U.S. through the southern border. That's just the ones they apprehended. Now look at this now. A number higher than the previous 10 years combined. And that's the New York Times article. Can you imagine what it really is? Tammy Lin, an immigration attorney and adjunct professor at the University of San Diego, says the increase in Chinese immigrants is because of the country's political climate and lack of economic opportunities. Yeah, that may be partially true, but how many does it take that were sent here by the CCP, the Chinese government, to spy, to collect information? Remember the balloon? They let the balloon go over and take pictures and grab data all they wanted to. Are they really, really that obviously the leaders in this country and the president in bed with the CCP in China? Is it really that obvious, or are they just stupid? Processing times in U.S. embassies in China are taking so long, it's getting harder for them to get tourist visas. Yes, it's a privilege to be a citizen here. And those of you that scoff at that, this racist country, this blah, 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 there's millions would love to be here tomorrow. Non-white people, I might add. They would love to be here. They're putting their lives at risk and their children's lives at risk to be here. For a country that's that bad, you can't be that stupid. Some of the folks used to come here as tourists and students before ultimately deciding I can't return to my country, which is overstaying a visa, and they seek asylum. Now they can't get into the U.S. that way, so they take these desperate measures to do the journey over from China, over to Mexico or South America, and over to the U.S. border. Yeah, there's a lot of people in China that have means. Middle class, upper middle class people, rich people. Yeah, it's not, they're all living under the same wage. It's a twisted version of capitalism, but there's some very rich, well-off people in China. You have to ask yourself, why is the Biden administration, I don't think it's Biden, I don't think he's even the president, but the small cabal of people that are the president, why are they allowing this? Are they working hand in hand with organizations to undermine our country at its foundation, to make America a mere shell of what it used to be? Ask yourself, why are they doing it? And when your answer comes out, keep Trump out of it. What Biden's doing in this immigration, everything that President Trump did, every executive order, first day, Biden walked in and did the total opposite just because Trump did it. Think about that for a minute. Hundreds of executive orders were negated in one day because Trump did it. Whether they were really good executive orders, they help protect this country or not, was immaterial. It's amazing to me how in a good, make me swear, how in the hell does Biden still have a 39% approval rating? How is that possible? Just on this immigration policy alone. Not even counting economic policies and on and on and on. Just the immigration policy, he shouldn't have 20%. It's incredible to me. Are there that many millions of people that stupid? A level of stupidity and ignorance within itself is a miracle. What do you think? Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.